Jeff Galashaw. Where the hell are you? What are you binge watching The Pit? What are you sleeping in? What are you doing some manscaping, shaving your body right now? You should be here with me and my boy Andre. But thank you for the kind words on the podcast. God bless, brother.
Attention, fans of Unfinished Business Television, we're thrilled to announce our proud partnership with Super 7, the ultimate destination for collectors and pop culture enthusiasts alike. Visit super74.com/AJEPYX today. Use promo code AJEPYX, and let's keep the good times rolling here at Unfinished Business Television.
Great cities of the world have a magic all their own. But only one city has it all. Detroit. This town could use a hero or two. A crack team of law enforcers to put crime in its place.
Hey, with the monkeys.
Must be something metallic.
Oh, probably my gun.
Just a man I need to help me with investigation.
Look! Stop that garbage bag! To my new partner. Oh, partner.
They're the right men for the job. They're just going about it the wrong way.
One shot left in here. We gotta make it count. I understand.
Damn, those guys are good.
Jay Leno.
Just my luck, I get the only guy from Japan doesn't know karate.
Pat Morita.
Not true. My brother not know karate either.
Get out of here! No! The wrong way! The other way!
Collision Course.
What kind of Mickey Mouse system you got in Japan?
Mickey Mouse, American invention.
Right. You guys aren't clever enough to think about it.
Now we have Disneyland now near Tokyo.
Do not.
Do too.
Do not.
Do too.
You lie.
No lie.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Unfinished Business Television Deep Dive, where we talk about movies in general, but we go a little bit more behind the scenes than just a simple review. I am your host, Jeff Galashaw of @UnfinishedB2 on social media. And with me, as always, is the man, Andre Joseph of AJ Epics Production.
Bust my ass, no good.
Yes. This week we are talking about a cinematic gem of a movie.
That was a jam.
That was filmed in 1987 and not released till 2 years later in 1989. Not in theaters, though. I believe it was released on home video and cable jointly. I really don't know. Because to tell you the truth, folks, I just watched it recently. I knew of this movie, but never watched it. So this week, we're talking about that buddy cop movie you've always dreamed of, bring together the big screen career of Jay Leno and Pat Morita, yes, Mr. Miyagi, in an early version of Rush Hour set in Detroit. It's a little movie by the name of Collision Course that I know played on HBO and USA a lot. And Andre, you picked this movie. Why did you pick this movie?
So when I watched The Tonight Show as a kid, I knew of Jay Leno anytime he was filling in for Johnny Carson back in the late 80s. So that was my introduction to him. And there was always, because I was so young, there was those vivid images that I was seeing sometimes when I snuck into my parents' bedroom and certain movies were on. And there was this movie that I didn't know anything about, but I always kept remembering at the end when he gets shot and he's bleeding And I'm like, is that the guy from Tonight Show getting his ass kicked and bleeding? Like, what the hell's going on? That, and when David Letterman used to do the short films on The Late Show when it was on NBC, and I could have sworn I saw something similar with him in one of these short films, getting into like a fight scene or something and looked like he got all beat up. So I didn't know what was what back then. And then a few years later, when I started really having more film habits and going to the video store, I saw the cover of Collision Course and seen Pat Morita and Jay Leno on the cover. So, it was like, this is a weird movie. And it's Jay Leno with a gun and he's a cop. And then, HBO, I think, played it on cable sometime after that. And I actually sat through and I watched it. And I remember not liking it, but then rewatching it in the recent years, my God, this movie is fucking racist and racist to the core. And it is a sad insult for even Pat Morita to be in this, given that he was in his Karate Kid fame, had just been nominated for an Oscar for playing Mr. Miyagi. And here he is playing the exact opposite, a Japanese cop who doesn't know martial arts. And then when eventually he does, it's a whole weird thing we'll get into. And yeah, you're teaming up with Jay Leno. So how the fuck did this movie even happen to begin with? And so I've been doing some deep diving into this film because it really has me curious. We know it's a movie that was shot in the 80s, but didn't come out till like the later part of the decade. So this was a movie that was produced by Dino De Laurentiis. And as you know, Dino De Laurentiis, the man who produced Serpico and numerous 70s classics, Death Wish, he had a production company, DEG, and they had gone bankrupt around 1987 when this movie was being made. Now, before they went bankrupt, they went to Jay Leno with this project, and he was approached to play the lead. He says he wanted to do a movie where he could be funny, and he wanted to be PG because he doesn't see himself as an R-rated comedian. He's a kid-friendly, family-friendly comedian, which is why he had The Tonight Show years later. And he said it wasn't a far-off character from him. It was like, he described it as Dean Martin playing Matt Helm. Okay.
Yeah, but Dean Martin's cool.
So this movie went through a number of different directors. First, it was John Guillermin, who directed Shaft in Africa. He directed The Towering Inferno, and he did the King Kong 1976 movie and its bastard sequel that came out in 86. So he left in pre-production, and that delayed things. So he got replaced by Bob Clark of Christmas Story, Rhinestone, Black Christmas. And he had just done From the Hip with Judd Nelson. So he shot a couple of weeks, but supposedly, I think he had creative differences with Jay Leno, and supposedly what he was shooting was what he had shot wasn't funny enough. So he goes off and makes loose cannons with Gene Hackman and Dan Aykroyd. So after he left, after 9 days of shooting, they get this guy, Louis Teague, who had just done Julia Nile, Cujo, Cat Eye, and a popular movie with us called Navy SEALs.
Oh, jeez.
So he comes in to finish this thing. Well, that's the other thing, too. So they shoot this movie in Detroit. And yeah, you have essentially Jay Leno's a Detroit cop, his best buddy, and we don't know why he's friends with this guy who runs a junkyard. He gets killed at the same time that this Japanese automaker, played by the guy that played Sato in Karate Kid 2, is killed by these gangsters. And because they're looking for this supercharged turbo engine that the Japanese made. And so Pat Morita gets alerted back in Japan. He gets sent off to the States to try to find this thing, ruffles feathers with Leno. And as a result, they end up having to be forced to work together to find out what's going on. Where's this turbo engine? And the turbo engine is being sought after by this underground, under-the-table gangster played by Chris Sarandon of Fright Night, hamming it up with his mustache. He's got Tom Noonan as this gun nut, Jesus-loving bad guy that I'm sure Donald Trump would love as a supporter. And so that was the movie. It's basically Rush Hour, but in 1987. So apparently, they never finished this film, contrary to popular belief. They shot enough of it before they lost the money. And Pat Morita would talk about this when he was on the Tonight Show years later, that they ran out of funding. So a lot of scenes that they were supposed to shoot never got completed. And I guess there were subplots and things that never really made it to the light of day. And so what you end up getting is Jay Leno doing what every other cliche cop movie character is. Like Nick Nolte before 8 hours. He's a slob. He doesn't eat well. He drives a nice car, which I'm sure must have been his because of his car collection. But otherwise, he's not interesting. And he makes these weird catchphrases and quotes like, hey, we're the monkeys. What? And Pat Morita doesn't know fucking martial arts. He is basically a wimp who's sneaking around, bumbling around like Inspector Clouseau. He gets into a bowling alley fight with a couple of Americans that don't like the Japanese for what they're doing to the car companies. And he gets his ass kicked by Randall Tex Cobb, of all people. And so, yeah, they become friends at the end, and the movie didn't really go anywhere. So it basically sat on the shelf for 2 years when De Laurentiis went bankrupt. And it finally came out. Nobody saw it. James Lipton never asked about it when Jay Leno was on Inside the Actor Studio.
Oh, Jesus.
And that is the legacy of Collision Course.
Yeah, I think that's when you could tell this wasn't about the actors being on Inside the Actor Studio. It's like, who's popular right now? Because Jay Leno has not made a good film ever.
No.
I thought before hearing the title and seeing like just the opening scene, I thought, oh, maybe he signed on to it because he's a car guy and there were going to be a lot of cars in this movie, or at least talk of cars. So maybe he just liked that aspect. But watching this movie, they kill the guy in the junkyard with a rocket gun. That's when I knew, whoa, this film's gonna suck. So I just watched in disbelief. I'm glad they didn't have money to film more, because then that would have made this movie would have been longer. So I know Tom Noonan actually did uncredited script work on this film too. So I don't blame him for any of this. It's like, hey, it was a job. I was working on it. I tried to make it better. He's actually the only interesting character in this movie. Really. I liked this. I can't even say I liked. Jay Leno as character, I take it is supposed to be a ladies' man, because one of the officers, female officers from the beginning, by the end, she's like bringing him stuff and saying, "Oh, how much he loves and cares about me." It's like, "Oh, I'll see you later."
That's his running gimmick. It's like, oh yeah, I need to get some information. So can I get your number so I can talk to you later?
And it only worked on one girl.
Yeah.
And realistically, other than the rocket gun death of some random old man who apparently was a retired cop, so you can't even retire on a cop's pension. You got to go run a junkyard.
2 days before retirement.
Exactly. And really, you can't tell when Jay Leno's angry, because he just seems angry throughout the whole film. So I don't know if it was just the script or that was just him.
Yeah, so much Academy Award-winning emotion when he finds out his friend just died.
Yes, he's more interested in insulting the guy who's investigating because he's fat. That was his only thing against the guy. Oh, he's overweight. So for the rest of the movie, I'm going to insult his detective skills by implying he'd rather be eating food somewhere. Because that doesn't say hacky comedian or anything.
Yeah, no, that was the biggest crime of the whole movie. Two biggest crimes of this film, besides just all that other blatant racism we just talked about. But yeah, Al Waxman from Cagney and Lacey playing the racist cop who's interrogating Pat Morita and saying, "Oh yeah, I know some Japanese, Toyota, teriyaki." Like, yeah, this movie is clearly outdated in its attitudes. Like, you have to have a racist cop poking fun at a man who I don't even think is really Japanese in real life, like with Jackie Chan and Cannonball Run. And you have Ernie Hudson in this movie just a few short years after Ghostbusters with nothing to fucking do in this film.
Yeah, he kind of disappears after a while.
Yeah, he must have been the victim of the budget cuts.
Or he was like, "Hey, you guys don't need me, cool." I don't think he was really mad his character didn't get complete by the end. there's only, let's face it, there's only one memorable scene in this whole movie when Pat Morita gets so he literally drop kicks a moving car, smashing Chris Sarandon's head because he just shot racist Jay Leno. And I guess Jay Leno took the bullet instead of Pat Morita. So now he's gotten so mad, he's going to do a physically impossible move. I guess sort of like a final move from the Karate Kid. Because I'm just like, that was the only stupidest, best part of the movie. And when did they kill Randall Tex Cobb? Because I don't even remember that.
Again, they never show like all the other henchmen either getting arrested or killed at the end. It's just Chris Sarandon. So it seems like they ran out of money. They couldn't have henchmen getting killed. And the other thing, you mentioned that be the cool part with Pat Morita, but the thing that ruins it is that you have to keep the scene going with him like a fucking dummy hanging around the car, like lifeless and almost like he's dead.
Well, even though what's his name is mortally injured, he's got to get up and be like, "Not Pat. You got to pull through, buddy. I know I've made fun of your people, your race throughout this film, but I've grown to like you because we drank together once."
Oh, that was racist too. When they get drunk in Jay Leno's apartment and he starts singing and all this stupid shit that's going on. Like they were parodying Karate Kid when he gets drunk as Daniel finds out about his dead wife.
Yeah, the whole thing of the script was just keep having him be bond with Jay Leno like he did with Daniel in Karate Kid. And let's copy that. It's like, I mean, oh, this movie. I wish there had been a love interest to just get us off of, the main storyline. Which
maybe he's supposed to be with the black chick in the club.
No, it's just like that would be like how Pat Morita kind of flirts with the teenage employee at the photo mat. It's like, no, please don't go any further than this. It's already weird.
I would later find out, and this is another shocker too. Angela Leslie, who plays the girl at the photo shop, would later become an accuser of Bill Cosby.
That's not that shocking. She was cute in the 1980s. Bill probably was a friend of Pat Morita, or Jay Leno was like, "Oh, who's the girl? He might want to be
around the comedians." Yeah, he was always on a Tonight Show, so
exactly. He's like, that girl you was in that collision course with. I'm making a movie called Leonard Part 6. I might have a role for her. Do you know if she likes pudding pops?
This great American man.
She could be one of Vanessa's friends who comes for a sleepover. And folks, trust me, this is better than watching the movie. It's like, because that movie, how you hated Brain Scan, that is how I felt about this movie. It's like, I will never watch this again. Unless somebody comes up with the meme of the drop kick. That's the only thing I ever, and the rocket gun. Because
where is Riff Tracks for this shit?
Because they smartly know we're never watching that piece of shit. We're not giving Jay Leno. The only thing menacing about Jay Leno is his chin. So that's watching this film, and the only odd part was seeing him with dark hair watching this movie, because I was just like, oh, wow, he looks a little different. But let's face it, he plays the character Bill Maher could have played. Dennis Miller definitely could have played.
Louis Anderson.
Or Louis Anderson. No, Louis Anderson, no.
Richard Belzer.
No, Richard Belzer would have been like, I'm not being a racist. I'm liberal. But he would have said, but I do have to wear shades throughout. That's my only clause. Yeah, it's bad. I'm sorry. This is something I would not tell anybody to watch. I'd find even the story of behind the scenes is more interesting than what's on screen. I mean, Louis Teague at least had directed some interesting films, and Bob Clark wasn't going to win that year either way. So either this or Loose Cannons. Both suck.
Oh, Leno said he liked Louis Teague because he was really good about being open to suggestions. And I like Louis. He's a good action director, and I trust his humor.
So he likes kiss asses, mainly.
Kiss ass are racist shit.
He's like, I just want to keep my job. So whatever you say, if that was the truth, then Louis Teague should have been working with Chuck Norris for 40 years. Because I'm like, well, if you just need, And Chuck was like, Louis Teague or my brother? I guess I'll go with my brother. So
I'd love to hear the Kathleen Turner stories on Jewel of the Nile, because I'm sure that was a shit show too.
yeah, she was like, yeah, I liked Robert Zemeckis better. He had a vision and imagination.
He's obsessed with cameras and lenses.
Yeah, and Louis Teague is like, I'm just trying to get along. I like everybody.
Trying to get a nut.
He's like, you know what? He was like, you know what's missing for Jewel of the Nile? That Jay Leno humor. That PG humor. Like, why? He's like, I was on Jewel of the Nile. I'm sure I can deal with Jay Leno and Pat Morita. And I'm just like, why? Chris Sarandon, I know, it's a job.
Yeah, that was definitely a paycheck gig. And that guy, John Hancock, is the angry boss of Jay Leno. I mean,
hey, he was
Franklin Ray not available?
No, and let's face it, it's one of his like last memorable roles because only a few years later he would die. And
but not before playing the Al Sharpton knockoff in Bonfire of the Vanities.
Yeah, he saved his career. It was like, oh, if anybody sees Collision Course, Jesus. Where I'm in a racist movie, but yet I'm the black guy in it, other than Ernie Hudson. At least there were no racist jokes thrown that way. So it's like, hey, black guys want to be in a movie with racist against Asians? And they were like, hey.
The Asians are played to be stereotypes. Like, look at Pat Morita's boss, the guy that was in Missing in Action 2. They totally play up how angry he is all the time.
Well, his guy got to go get the plans for the super engine?
Yeah.
Hey, you come to me, be like, you want to do a day? Okay. And you get to stay on the same set. So I was like, I just be like, is there catering? I'm good then. I'll get the plans. You suck as a detective. You brought dishonor to the thing. Okay, you got that? Okay, that would be like a Bruce Willis role back when he was like just taking paycheck roles in there for 3 weeks. It would have been the equivalent of that, except Bruce would have wanted to kill somebody. Somewhere.
This movie probably would have been released if it was Bobcat Goldthwait instead of Jay Leno.
What, him and Sweet Chuck team up for the side movie? No one.
Hey, the Police Academy spinoff probably would have done some capital. They were making toys, they were making cartoons. Why not?
So this was the film the kids had been waiting for.
Yes.
Collision Course. Well, if it had been successful, could have been Collision Course too, because Jay Leno was busy doing the Tonight Show. Maybe you could have got Pat Morita, but what's the collision of two white guys coming together?
It probably would have been more cutting commentary if you had David Letterman instead of Jay Leno.
Yeah, David Letterman can read scripts. He's like, no, I'll do a cameo in Cabin Boy, but I ain't the star. So, yeah, that's the difference between Jay Leno and David Letterman. David Letterman actually knows quality. When he reads,
Zajac had a late night show.
Yeah, I remember. I used to watch it. Shoot, I remember Rick Dees having a late night talk show.
Maybe they should have had Pat Morita team up with Alan Thicke. I think that would have made money.
So Alan Thicke can be the racist. So like he wants to sign up. Like, yeah,
Canadian racist. We never seen that on film.
And there's a good reason. Maybe some of them, their stars are liberal enough to be like, yeah, this script, even for 1987 standards, is a shit. I'm gonna go deal with Super Christian on the set of my television show. It's like, if he's doing a movie, it's not like, I want to let loose. Let me do a movie that makes fun of Asians instead of being on this Super Christian show that has a character named Boner on it. So, or excuse me, Richard Stabone.
You should have hooked up with Joanna Kerns in real life. I'm sorry.
They say they never did. We don't
They
know.
did. You know it.
Like Alan thinks so.
She was divorced. He was divorced when the show started. It makes sense.
And he wrote her an original song like the theme songs he wrote in his
Did
life.
Robin Thicke ever do a DNA test? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, he's definitely Alan Thicke's son, but I mean, but he's not as cool as his dad. But
not anymore. He fucked up with Paula Patton, dude.
That's on him. I'm like, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything.
Charlie Sheen and Pat Morita.
Charlie Sheen was into playing a guy who would date rape you, but not it was racist at the time. Because remember, he wasn't even racist in cadence. Martin Sheen was instead. He just got sent on the line. So remember that. That's one thing I guess Charlie Sheen can say. You can call me many things: asshole, cheater, drug addict, bad father, bad husband. But you know what? I was never racist. It is true. His best friend's black.
Yeah, longtime best friend. Never went to acting.
Exactly. I don't know what he does for a living. And his favorite drug dealer is Hispanic. His
He was a furniture salesman.
best friend was the guy who sells
The
crack.
best friend. I'm sure maybe the other guy sold a different kind of furniture.
The only thing that would piss me off if with Charlie Sheen if I was a fan of his. So you win a People's Choice Award and you give it to the dealer. So I voted for you and you gave that award that I voted for to your drug dealer.
There are wrestlers who have done that too. Get their Hall of Fame ring and then sell it off to buy booze and coke.
Well, I mean, wrestlers understandable. They're more chunky, but it's like, Charlie, you had money. You have residuals. This was back before streaming, But anyway, yeah, Charlie Sheen could have made the movie better, but even he was like, hell no.
I wonder if he ever profited from his Super 7 Red Dawn figure.
Couldn't hurt. Maybe if he charged a certain amount for you to sign it. And, I'm like, yeah, that's more interesting to talk about this movie.
Yeah, the collision course, which I don't think we'll ever get Super 7 toys, but there probably will be another Pat Morita Karate Kid figure at some point down the line. So I commissioned Super 7 to do that. You can always buy their other toys right now.
Yeah, because do they have to use extra material for Jay Leno's chin?
Yeah, it gotta be like the Moon Man from McDonald's.
Exactly. I'm just like, this, I could see Bill Maher more starring in if Jay Leno had turned it down.
And I would hate it worse with Bill Maher if it was him.
Yeah, because I'd be like, I don't think he was acting. Because when Jay Leno says like, oh, I want to play a character next to me. So you hate Asians?
I mean, we saw him in DC Cab. He didn't like anybody in that.
Did anybody
like he'd be hanging out with Mr. T after the shoot?
No, but I wouldn't have minded seeing Jerry Stiller as the villain instead of Chris Sarandon. This short guy who's always yelling, all of a sudden is the villain.
He looked like a cross between Patrick Bergen and my high school math teacher.
Well, here's the scary part. He had that same look in Bordello of Blood. That mustache. I'm like, Jesus, what did Susan Sarandon do to you? That made him think like, you know what? This mustache is going to be McCall Guard. In all these movies that I'm in,
I don't think he turned down Fright Night 2 for this shit.
He's like, I'm too good for this sequel of this movie. But I get to work with Jay Leno. Yes. My dream. Oh, wait, Randall Tex Cobb? Not just Randall Cobb. It's like, oh, Tom Noonan. I liked him in Easy Money. And so I'm just like, I just hope they paid
work in the Monster Squad.
I just be like, I hope they just paid him. I hope they paid Chris Sarandon the most to be in this film. And then maybe Tom Noonan, since he did 2 jobs, he's the second highest earner. And then Jay Leno. I think at that point, Jay Leno really realized, like, yeah, I really got to get a talk show or something because I can't just keep doing stand-up the rest of my life because my movie career
is my politics. I need to fuck over Johnny Carson. And then once I get that job and they kick me out, I fuck over Conan O'Brien and then I retire.
Oh, wait. And then I appear on my Republican friend Tim Allen's sitcom as a recurring character.
Yep.
and I wear a Canadian tuxedo for the rest of my life. Denim all around, y'all.
Oh my god.
And I like cigars. And I still don't get along with David Letterman. Who
I
used
don't
to be
blame him.
Look, Jay Leno is both the Jesse Ventura and the Hulk Hogan of the comedy world.
Domestic politician.
Yes, because he wanted to unionize, but he wasn't above selling others out to do it. And he was like, "Yeah, we should unionize." Wait, how much am I getting for the Tonight Show? Fuck y'all. I'm out. Oh, Conan, I love that you have my old job. But see, my show, the half-hour thing they put on at 10:30, bomb. So I'm gonna need my job.
Yeah.
So yeah, you and your crew, good luck.
Fucked him over anyway. He took 11:30 and then they moved Conan to midnight. Like, fuck you, dude.
I'm like, yes, because what we all missed about the Tonight Show and Jay Leno was his interview style. He was so hard hitting. Be glad I would have been like, instead of Jay Leno, we finally give Tom Snyder his due before midnight. And
I prefer Tom Snyder. We still need Tom Snyder.
we're never going to get another Tom Snyder.
I know.
And with journalism going, down the drains, at least publicly, I don't know. I love how many issues Collision Course opens.
Well, it's a very political film dealing with Detroit and how, the Japanese were taking over the auto manufacturing industry. It kind of was like after Gung Ho doing that. So it had something to say, I think.
Yeah, it was stealing from better movies. It was like, let's take a little bit of Gung Ho, a little bit of Karate Kid, the buddy cop genre in general.
They just didn't hire a Hong Kong director to do it, and then it'd be more racist.
And then what's his name really wouldn't have wanted to do the film because he's like, wait, you want me to do stunts?
I wonder if this was offered to Jackie Chan.
I'm sure it was, but even then, Jackie's like, I know to stay where I'm at, and my movies might not be the best, but at least they're homegrown. Because what would he wouldn't have had anything to do except for the drop kick. And what, jumping out of a house that a rocket launcher is heading towards?
You ever heard a story that Jackie Chan wanted to do a sequel to Backdraft because he wanted to show off some fancy moves with the fire hose, and Ron Howard just said no.
I'm like, you couldn't just write a movie about a fucking fireman, Jackie? No, let's make a Backdraft too. We need to see De Niro do this too. So Jackie can be amongst the acting great. Look, either way, William Baldwin would have came back.
He needs the money. And then when they did make the sequel, they killed him all.
The one guy who was willing to come back and you kill him. It's like, great. And you guys are experts at sequels. It's like when they kill, they couldn't even get Patrick Swayze, but when they tried to make that Point Break sequel and it's the son of Keanu Reeves and they're like, oh, well, Bodhi and my father are dead. And it's like,
yeah, what?
Like, then why the fuck am I watching Point Break now? I don't care what the legacy is. I want to
the
see
same thing of Roadhouse. They did the straight-to-video one with the guy from That Thing You Do. He's the son of Patrick Swayze. To find out Patrick Swayze was shot.
Like once or like multiple times. It's like, hey, dad got shot. Yeah. Like, so you're telling me the dude who fucking survived a car crash and all that shit in the first movie, all somebody had to do was shoot him once and it was like, oh, I'm dead. It's like, nah. And
a sequel to a Collision Course, just have like some AI Jay Leno get shot in the chin.
That's a big ass chin. Did it take out the whole thing? Is it gonna be super gory like a demon?
With a rocket gun.
Yes, because I really want to buy a rocket gun. It can only be used once, really. And it's like, oh, we want to make this killing look, like indiscriminate hate crime. So let's use a one of a fucking kind gun. It's like,
how's it a PG movie where you use a rocket gun and the guy doesn't fucking explode?
Well, the rocket just goes in. It doesn't
goes in.
It doesn't explode. Come on, they can't sell that out on the streets, even if he does have a bazooka in his trunk. It's for no reason except he's a gun lover, but he loves Jesus too. And I'm sure watching this film, I'm sure Trump's like, I have this on in the office all the time. All it needed was more women nude in it. You know, me and Epstein used to watch it all the time.
Their favorite. They play it on the loop.
Exactly. They really like the idea of an underage black girl. So, you know,
And being racist to the Japanese.
unless they have money for them, then
Oh, that
they're like,
too. Yeah.
yeah, then we'll worship them. And
Hang out with our Saudi friends while we're at it. They'll love this.
Exactly. And I mean, he has the same dress code as Jay Leno's character. Just all you need is a jacket and a white shirt. You know, white's his favorite color. So, I'm sure Melania loves watching this film.
Especially her friend who probably got raped by Cosby.
Of course.
I don't think they're friends, but still.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
They all hang in the same circles. I'm sure Cosby's made many trips to Trump Tower as much as he has to the Playboy Mansion in his lifetime.
And probably Epstein Island. But he was there to entertain. You know, he's like, I got some. Yes, he's got to entertain the Stephen Hawkings and the Bill Clintons who are on this island.
A lifetime supply of Spanish fly.
I just like that well, it was the 70s, so that was a thing, because I'm just like...
And they love Coke. Coca-Cola, of course.
No. Coke, Jell-O. What else did he shill?
Brown Jell-O.
Fat Albert cartoons, and where he likes to do all the voices again. And just like, I don't know, even though it's getting way off of collision course, did Bill Cosby or the writers decide for him to be a gynecologist? And
I think that was everything that they did on the show had to be his idea. So and his wife. His wife was the one who suggested changing Cliff from a blue collar working construction worker to a gynecologist.
If only we would have known how that would come to bite him in the ass years later.
He probably added the part that the office would be under the apartment, which I did not realize until I watched that W. Kamau Bell documentary.
Oh, I realized I thought it was odd, but I just figured, he owns the building. But my thing is, of course, so no one can truly hear you scream. So.
If you own the building, you got some money to do and hush some of these women.
Well, I mean, come on. It's Bill. And now, this should have been one of the movies he made, since he's never really made a good film.
Cosby and Pat Morita could have made this interesting before it got even more dated later.
And it would have been just a black racist movie against Asians. And then, no, Bill wouldn't have did it. It would have been against his image. So even though, hey, he was badass in Mother, Jugs, and Speed.
I want to talk to you about your whatever the fuck, your turbo engine.
And the ending, he gets the prototype, and now he's supposed to take this shit onto a plane.
That shit's fucking, and he's in a wheelchair. How is he gonna get that on the goddamn plane?
Yeah, how's he gonna say, I need this in my lap?
How did he even sneak past security checkpoint?
Well, come on, it was the 80s. It wasn't like now.
It looked like a fucking bomb. How did he even get that through?
He's a cop. Back then, apparently all you had to do was show a badge. Like, I'm trustworthy. And so do you have anything else to say about Collision Course?
So this movie went straight to video in 1992, just as Jay Leno took over the Tonight Show.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably should have just stayed there instead of ever hitting YouTube, ever hitting DVD, which I don't think it ever did. And it's never been mentioned ever again, except in some jokes. I think didn't Conan do a thing where he took a scene and then he put somebody's face over Jay to make a point? I don't remember, but everybody knows this is as bad as the Mac and Me bit with the kid falling off the cliff.
As it should be. So he can never forget at least one of his crimes of starring in this film. And luckily, or not luckily, but for his sake, Pat Morita has passed on, so he never has to explain this film ever again.
You just found out that the food was good. I mean, Dino De Laurentiis always made great food on his sets.
Well, that's one thing you would always get on one of his productions. It was great craft service. And I miss those days, even though I was never in one of his movies. But just to hear the stories of it, it's like, did they have lava cake too? You know? But that ends this episode of Deep Dive. But we will return with another episode, and probably will never interview Jay Leno on this show, apparently, if he ever sees this. So, any last words about this shitball of a movie?
Yes, David Letterman is better.
And always has and always will be. So, see you guys next time.
If you like this review, please be sure to like and hit subscribe to be alerted to new episodes in the future.